Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is one double Jeopardy from murder. Double Jeopardy!
Oh, that's good. I like that. I saw that movie once.
Yes. Was that with Ashley Judd?
Yes.
Yes, that was good.
Was that also Morgan Freeman, or was that a different one?
Oh, it might have. That was Kiss the Girls or something.
No, that was Kiss the Girl. Another fantastic movie.
That was good too.
But
anything with Ashley Judd was always amazing.
Double Jeopardy was really good.
Yes.
I know. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Well, this isn't the movie, so...
Oh, cool. Right, this is a real story. It's true crime, remember?
True crime.
True crime.
Okay, so this is one of those stories that does sound like a Hollywood movie, so you're on the right path.
Ooh.
It's something you wouldn't think could happen in real life, but it does.
Sometimes those are the best ones.
Sometimes it happens more than Hollywood stories happen, so...
I know some stories where they're like, well, we kind of had to change it because it didn't sound real.
Right.
But it was true.
But it's true. So you kind of have to go with the truth, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's this story. So the majority of it happens in the late 80s or early 80s through the 80s.
All right. I got my leg warmers on. I'm wearing a sweatshirt with the neck cut out off one shoulder.
Yes.
My hair is in a side pony. Yeah, it's in a side pony.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I had the poodle hair. Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh, God. Who didn't?
So bad. So this is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Going down south. So this is the story of Melvin Ignatow.
Dang, that's a complicated one.
Yeah.
So Melvin.
Yeah, he goes by Mel.
Okay.
Thank God. Because Melvin doesn't sound quite as cool. I don't know.
Yeah, Mel.
He's one of those people who always seems to be happy-go-lucky, outgoing. He's likable, never seems the type to get sad.
Don't know what that feels like.
No. I'm really good at pretending it, though.
You fake it well.
I'm a great faker, a great happy faker. You learn from birth on to do it.
Yeah. Suck it up.
Suck it up. So, but he did go through a divorce, Mel did, while his kids were still pretty young in 1973. Wow. He was given custody of his kids, so he's taken on the challenge.
Very rare at that time.
Yeah, and he has 3 kids. So.
She must have been a hot mess. They don't do that.
Yeah, that or he had a lot of money.
Oh, right. He was the breadwinner. Right. Yep. Okay.
So not a small responsibility. He took it all on. He's this successful businessman. He travels the world for an Asian import-export firm.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yeah. So he's kind of rolling in it. And he also indulges himself in major manly gifts, like...
Manly gifts?
Manly gifts, like a Corvette to himself and a 32-foot speedboat.
I'm picturing the guy from the Old Spice commercials.
Yeah, this guy wasn't that cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he wasn't that cool. He just had
He
stuff.
thought he was. He was like, yes, I will attain the things. Yeah. His lifestyle and charm easily attracted the ladies, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Look at that wallet. It's busting open. And even though Mel put on the happy-go-lucky persona at work and while out and about, he was a lot different at home.
Uh-oh.
He was good at faking it too, I guess. I hope I'm not like Mel at home, though.
Oh, God.
So he's got those 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. His son, Mike, is the youngest of the 3. And when Mel would come home, the kids would feel dread.
Oh, God.
He's this super control freak.
Oh, God.
It's bad enough that he would immediately, as he comes home, heads to the kids' rooms to inspect them for cleanliness.
Oh, boy. Okay, Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mary Poppins. He's Mel Poppins.
Mel Poppins.
Oh, God. So he nitpicks to the point where there is absolutely no pleasing him. And it's so ridiculous. Kids aren't even allowed to use a vacuum. They have to pick things up out of the carpet by hand. I mean, why?
How do they pick up the dust and the skin particles? Like, it's not possible.
I know. He's just being a dick at this point.
Wow. Well, if they were forced to keep their rooms that clean, what was left to pick up? Like,
exactly. He would find it. He would find it. Like, there's a single hair I see. I don't know.
Oh, my God. He should have gone into forensics is what he should have done.
He should have. He might have.
Did all of his kids go into forensics? Because they probably would have been really good at carpet fibers.
Oh, they would have been amazing. Although he wouldn't have had his money and wealth. So,
Right.
But he torments the kids. He intimidates them. He yells at them. He calls them terrible names. He never hits them. But according to the kids, the words were worse than being beat. They would have rather.
Right. There's no physical thing to go with how awful you feel. It's nobody can see it. Nobody knows.
Yeah. His verbal abuse is just awful. So soon Mel gets a girlfriend and the kids are like, okay, maybe this will take some of the focus off of us.
Yeah. Maybe Dad will get laid so he's not such a pain in the ass.
Get laid, Dad. The girlfriend's name, she's Mary Ann Shore. Mel had met her at work, and it's that typical story. She was his secretary at work. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mel's in his 30s at this point, and Mary Ann's in her 20s. So younger lady. And Mel traveled a lot when he'd go on his business trips. So Mary Ann would step up and help watch the kids when he was gone.
Oh, I thought maybe she went with, but no. Okay.
I would think. No.
I don't think that's part of a secretary's job.
Yeah. I don't think I'm your babysitter too. And a free one at that. But
right.
So Mary Ann, on the surface, she's nice and friendly. But underneath, she's sneaky and manipulative, especially with the kids.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Great.
They
combo.
cannot catch a break.
No, these poor kids. So like one time she walks into young Mike's room. He's probably like 11 or 12. And she tells him, yeah, I found cigarettes in your room. And he's freaking out because he's like, do not tell my dad.
My dad would kill me.
Well, I won't say anything if you convince your dad that I'm the best thing for him and he needs me to stick around.
How old was this poor kid at this time? Like 11
or 12. Yeah. He's just a little nugget.
Wow.
So, of course, she pretty much wraps him around her fingers because he feels like he'll get shit beat out of him or something if his dad finds out. So he keeps it a secret. And of course he agrees, and he tells his dad all the great things that she is. She's such a wonderful person. Please keep her around. We all love her so much, all this kind of stuff.
Oh no.
But Mary Ann, meanwhile, she causes fights between the siblings just to cause a rift in the family.
What the fuck? Okay.
It's so weird. She'd like put a piece of clothing in one girl's room and have the other girl find it. And then they'd have a fight about who's stealing whose clothing. And it just kept happening and happening. And finally the kids are realizing it's not us, it's her. But her real goal is to get the kids out of the picture so she can have dad to herself and all the money to herself.
Oh my God.
And
where are these kids supposed to go?
I don't know.
And God.
I hadn't heard about their mom at all. I don't know if she's just not in the picture at all or what, but.
Oh boy. Okay.
So Mary Ann, she caused the numerous problems. She would amp up the tension to get the kids into as much trouble with Mel as possible so that he would just be furious all the time at them because that's fun.
Oh my God.
But her manipulation didn't work to give her Mel's heart. It just couldn't happen. So the pair they broke up, they'd get back together. They broke up constant like that.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's all so fun.
But finally, Mel's like, I'm done. I'm breaking it off for good.
I thought maybe he's going to be like, that's it. She's forever. Nope.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So like I said before, he goes on all these business trips. He would call a few times, usually when he'd go away, check in on the kids, and then he would have someone to stay with him. But one particular time he comes home, and this is after the older girls, they were already gone in college. Mike's the only one left at home. He's like 16.
Gotcha. So the other girls, they had their chance and got out. Gotcha. Okay.
So Mike's in high school and Mel says, hey, I've got to go on this month-long trip. And here's some money for groceries. See ya. So really, this 16-year-old kid's alone. And the whole time for a month, never calls. He doesn't have anyone stay with him, which is really weird. That's never happened before.
Wow.
Mike's like, okay, whatever. I guess he's probably happy, but it would be weird. And turns out Mel wasn't on some overseas work trip. He was actually in jail. Whoops. I guess you don't want to tell your own kid, but he was in jail on tax evasion charges. So I was wondering, like, wouldn't the cops be like, hey, this kid can't be alone. He's 16.
Right.
But Guess they didn't know, maybe.
Okay.
But unbeknownst to Mel at that time, it was actually Mary Ann who had turned him in for it.
Oh,
But she had all the books. She knew what he was doing.
Was pissed about the breakup.
Yeah, woman scorned. So it would be a long time before the family learned about Mel's tax evasion imprisonment. They didn't even know.
Oh,
like he's just gone for a month and they're
God. Dad, you don't look as well as you did when you left for Europe.
You look a little pale, Dad. I don't know. So at 18, Mike, he's ready to get the hell out of Dodge. So
yeah,
he enlists in the army and he spends 3 years away. Like, boom, gone.
Yep.
So when he returns, his dad has a new girlfriend. Her name is Brenda. And he's like, okay, I like this. I'm glad he doesn't have Marianne because Marianne's a total bish. So Brenda is quite a bit younger. She's 36 at this time. And now Mel is 50.
Ugh,
but
gross.
I know. But to Mike, she's like a significant upgrade compared to Marianne. She's quiet. She's kind. The pair seem totally in love. So he's like, okay, I'm behind this. You know, my dad's happier and we get along better. So one night, Mel asks his whole family, you know, everybody come to my house. I'm having a big dinner. I have a big announcement. So,
oh boy,
I know Mike, his 2 sisters, their grandma and their aunt all arrived for the festivities. They're all there.
Okay.
And Mel is like, okay, big news. I asked Brenda to marry me and she said yes. And everyone's like, yay, this is amazing. But there's something weird. Brenda's not there. Like,
what?
When don't you usually make engagement announcements?
Really weird.
Where's Brenda? Is she coming or what?
Right.
So
that's odd.
Yeah. And all the families like, this is really weird. So they all speak up. They're like, where is Brenda?
That's awesome.
Coming?
We'd like to congratulate her as well. Will she be showing up later?
This is weird. You'd think he would postpone it or something.
Yeah.
But he said something to the effect of like, well, she planned to be here, but work just couldn't let her go yet. So we're not doing it this evening.
So reschedule. That's odd. Very odd.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was like, I already scheduled all this. I already made dinner. So here we go.
I already made dinner. I'm not going to waste this food.
He'd be the type. Yeah.
You're just the bride. It's fine.
It doesn't matter.
No one cares.
So Mike gets a call at work from his dad after that night, and Mel is just sobbing. And he's telling him, Brenda is missing. I haven't seen her. I don't know what's happening. This is really fucked up.
Oh, my.
It was to the point Mike had never seen his dad cry before. And his dad is like, he can't hardly speak. He's super upset. So Mike and the rest of the family all hurry over to Mel's house again. Marvin? Mel.
Marvin? Who's Marvin?
The Martian?
Wait, is he the killer?
I don't know where he got Marvin from. Mel, he's freaking out in a way that none of them have seen. He's beside himself. He tells them all that he and Brenda had spent the day together. It was wonderful. They went out to dinner and they had a nice time. And normally when Brenda would get home, she would call Mel and be like, hey, I'm home. You know, I'm got here safely. But that night she didn't call. So night.
So she spent the day with him and then was going back to her place.
Yep.
Okay.
She should have called. She didn't. So Mel calls the police and he tells them, hey, can you look, see if you see her car anywhere?
Why wouldn't you go over there?
Yeah, yourself. That's what I thought.
Why wouldn't you go? Oh, she's not answering the phone. I'm going to go check on her.
Let me go check.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Red flag.
Exactly. Very big red flag. Calls the police and, he's thinking maybe she had an accident on the way home. Police head out on the path Brenda would have driven, and sure enough, they find her car.
Interesting. He's got a sixth sense.
He does. How did he know she would have an accident?
Strange. Okay.
Bizarre. The car has a flat tire. The window's broken, and the stereo's gone.
Someone pulled over to rob a car that had a flat tire?
Right. Like what?
Is that like opportunity? Like crime of opportunity?
Well, Brenda's also missing, and there's blood in the car.
Oh, shite.
And they test the blood. The weird thing is it's not Brenda's and it's not.
What?
Yeah, it's not Mel's. So what the hell? Why is there rando blood in here?
Did somebody cut themselves trying to remove the stereo?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. So Mel, he's torn apart. He's desperate to find her. This is the love of his life, so he says. But time passes and there's no sign of Brenda. And police's theory was that someone had stopped pretending they were going to help her with her tire, but instead took the stereo and kidnapped Brenda. They're like, oh, twofer.
I'm going to do a good deed. You know what? On second thought,
she's kind of cute. I may as well take her, and right? She has a good stereo.
And we're going to get the stereo as well.
It's a twofer. Yeah, so...
What the hell?
I know. So at this point, the investigation drags on for a year with no leads. No Brenda, no leads. They don't know if she's alive, if she's dead.
She's just gone.
Just gone, disappeared.
Okay.
Poof. However, police aren't totally buying what Mel's selling. They're like,
yeah.
Your shit stinks, dude. Something's weird.
Supposedly he was a good businessman, but not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah. Brenda's family, they had never been big fans of Mel to begin with. And they insisted that police need to probe into him more. I mean, they were not letting up.
Oh.
But in the media and to everyone else, Mel seemed super genuine. He seemed innocent.
There's the salesman. There's the salesman.
He comes across as so genuine. They all believe it. Even like the papers are like, oh, it can't be this grieving man. He just can't get over this.
No, they never fake that shit. That never happens.
This guy's just really good at, he was really good at pretending to be such a nice guy in person.
This is true. He's got a track record of putting on a good face. Okay.
Yeah. So, Mike's living on his own at this point, and his son, and he steps out onto the porch and he grabs his newspaper and he opens it. And he's shocked by the headline. Brenda's body had been found and his father had been arrested for her death. I mean, he found this out in the paper.
The paper? Nobody called and gave him a heads up. He found it in the paper?
Like, oh my. Okay. But Mike, he says, I know my dad's innocent when he hears who found the body. It was none other than Mel's ex-girlfriend, Mary Ann, who had found Brenda's body. Exactly.
The woman, the ex scorned is still pissed, and she's like, I'm going to prove.
And these two, and he and Brenda had been together for like 2 years. So this lady is still pissed and still around.
Wow.
So
here's my chance to frame this guy. Yeah, what the hell?
I know.
This is bizarre.
It's, better than Hollywood. Yeah. I know. Super weird. Mary Ann had led police to the body. None of Mel's relatives or friends were aware that Mel was even still in contact with her or anything, or that she was still even around.
Yeah.
But police had never let Mel off their radar, and they had bugged his phone and surveilled his home since Brenda's disappearance.
Oh.
Because they were that convinced he had something to do with it. They overheard a conversation between Mel and Mary Ann where she called him to say, like, I'm really concerned because a developer is going to start digging and I'm afraid of where they might find the body.
Oh.
And he had replied, he had replied with, that place we dug is not shallow. Yeah.
But basements aren't either. Anyway.
True. They can find it when they dig. Yeah. Oh. So that information led them to Mary Ann, the police to Mary Ann, who they hadn't really been aware of before that. But it led them to her, who then they set upon cracking for the information because she is, crackable.
My God.
So Mike and his sisters know, though, that Mary Ann can't be trusted to tell the truth, even about her own life.
Right.
Let alone the man that had dumped her. And police didn't know that, though. So they're taking everything she says as gold.
Right.
Police are like, yeah, we solved the case. Mary Ann told us that everything. So she told them Mel had sexually abused, tortured, and killed Brenda and suffocated her with chloroform. She claimed they had together dug a grave weeks before the actual murder.
What?
Right? It's just out of left field. And why would they still be talking? But anyway, Mel had driven Brenda's car to the freeway while Mary Ann, had followed him in another vehicle. Mel then stabbed the tire to flatten it, and they drove off, leaving Brenda's car stranded to be found by police. And then they went and buried Brenda.
And someone came along and got the stereo and bled all over the car.
Yeah. She even claimed they had taken photos of the whole thing, but none were found in any of the searches.
What? That would be a horrible thing to do. That's evidence they can find on you. What?
So stupid. I mean, they searched her place. They searched his place. They couldn't find any of these pictures that she's talking about.
But if they had, it would have been like, dude, they're
yeah,
guilty.
Guilty. Exactly.
Wow.
So she said, she even claimed they had scream tested. I didn't know this. Scream tested her house to see if it would be a great place to kill Brenda. And she said that's where it happened.
What a weird thing to do.
Super weird. Super weird. It was well reported that she was a chronic liar her entire life. The family and others who knew Marianne didn't put much stock in her story. They're like, oh, okay, crazy. She's just trying to set this guy up. And Mike and his entire family are sure that she's the actual killer. She's obsessive. She was jealous. She had every reason to go after this woman. So,
right.
And it was Marianne herself who had rented a house where the body was buried behind it in the lot that was undeveloped behind her.
Oh.
So it's like right there. Right by her. Like, okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you go farther away? But I guess they're like, hey,
why would you do it in your own backyard?
Yeah. They're like, hey, this is undeveloped. We should do it here. So.
Right. Okay.
Dumb. Oh, so in any case, Mel was charged with Brenda's murder because of all this witness testimony. And he goes to trial.
But wouldn't she be arrested as a conspirator, or she was the key witness?
She was the key witness. She got a deal.
Oh my God.
So goes to trial. His defense is understandable. He claims Marianne's the scorned ex who was out to take him down. And Marianne, she had painted herself as an uncaring, emotionless bitch on the stand. That's how I wrote it, because she did.
That's how she presented herself?
Oh, she was terrible. She wore a tight miniskirt. She giggled throughout her testimony.
She giggled? It's a murder trial.
It's a murder trial. She was laughing at shit. And she's telling this tale of like utter brutality. She supposedly watched Brenda go through, and she's flat. No emotion, no tears, just matter of fact, and then giggling through it. Like,
psycho.
Whoa. Oh, I should show you a picture of her so you could describe it, because I was like...
isn't that a psychopath? Someone who doesn't have any...
Yeah. Or a sociopath.
Sociopath? I don't know. I have to get those. I can't ever keep those straight, but that's
whatever it is, it's bad.
Wow. That's some attitude.
She's a sassy bitch.
Oh my God. Could she care any less about what she's talking about? Yeah.
And with those sweet 80s glasses.
Oh God, the sweet 80, like, oh my God, those are huge. Those are massive. But like who leans back and puts their arm up during like a cross-examination?
Yeah, you would think it would be...
This is some serious shit.
Everybody could get in bad trouble. And here's a picture of Mel so you can see. He's not quite the ladies guy you would think. Not terrible looking, but very 80s mustache.
Yeah, I do like the beige 70s shirt with the deep V-neck so we can see his chest hair. That's always pleasant.
Yes, and the thin fabric that conforms to the torso.
Okay. Well, but she wasn't that much of a looker herself, so.
No, match made in heaven, where Brenda's gorgeous, so he should have stuck with her. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had to show you a picture of her because she cracked me up the way she was sitting like,
God, could she be kicked back anymore? Oh my God. Okay. Lives are at stake here, by all means. Lives are at stake.
Somebody died.
Would you like to put your feet up?
Yeah. Maybe kick off your shoes. Hang out for a while. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So during the trial, so as for the recording where Mel said that place we dug is not shallow.
Yeah.
He had also said after that, beside that one area right by where that site is does not have any trees by it. But being a recording, it was a little scratchy. And it's hard to tell if he said the word site or safe. So it would have been being a recording. It's a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it would have been beside that one area right by where that safe is, does not have any trees by it.
Why would a safe be out in the middle of?
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Next to some trees. In an area with trees.
Seriously, I know. So, but the jury decided, they listened to it a million times. They think he said safe, and that he's talking about a safe he had buried. Apparently he was known to kind of bury money, but certainly not a crime.
What? Really?
It's so confusing. Yeah. They just were like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a open and shut case.
But didn't she say body?
She did in hers. She said something about the body, and they're like, jury didn't read it as that.
Did they listen to the whole fucking thing? Like,
I don't know.
What the hell?
I know. And that's what cops are thinking too, that the prosecution's like, come on, are you kidding me? Open and shut case. But I think it's mostly because the jury did not like Marianne. They didn't trust her. Okay. They didn't like her giggling. They didn't like how she presented herself.
I can't imagine why they felt so put off by her. She was so lovely.
Yeah. So they came back with a not guilty verdict for Melvin.
Based on?
They just felt there wasn't enough evidence. There was no DNA on the bodies because it was so decomposed.
Whose fucking blood was in her car?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. They're like, it could have been someone else. There's someone else's blood there.
There's somebody else out there. Although I will say, that reminds me, when my cousin was in college, he was driving my grandfather's super old Cadillac. Like super old, right?
Yes.
Where like he had the Fred Flintstone emergency brake. The floor had rusted. Oh, no. And the only thing that kept you from seeing the ground when you drove was the floor mat.
Oh my God.
Right? So anyways, he was parked in the city and someone had broken into the car and tried to get his stereo out. Why? I don't know. It was a cassette thing. This was like in the 90s. It was like a cassette player.
You're like, this is great for my
I don't even know if it had a cassette player. It might have just been a
AM/FM radio.
Right? Because he said he found his car broken into and you could see the scratch marks where someone had tried to take a crowbar and they obviously couldn't get it out and just left. They just left and said, fuck it. All right, you know what? This isn't even worth it. So I could see someone doing that and then in the process cut themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bleed all over. But she probably had a nicer car than that.
Probably. Who knows? But they did break the window, though, to get into it.
With their bare hand?
Yeah, with what? I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the blood, but okay. All right, sorry.
And I don't know if they tested Marianne for the blood. They didn't say. I would assume.
Oh, that would have been... Yeah. That would have been smart. Okay. All right. So he is not guilty.
Yeah, he is not guilty. So he's super happy.
Of course he is.
And of course he's like, I knew I would be found innocent because I am and all that kind of stuff. As for Marianne, she's given a prison sentence of 5 years for evidence tampering. But... But she's not charged with the murder because she had gotten leniency in order to testify against Melvin.
What evidence did she tamper with?
I guess they're saying the body for being, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, like she helped him hide the body or something?
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, that's interesting.
Doing
she
something
got
with the body.
5 years.
5 years. But she's not charged with the murder. So not terrible, but at least she got something where he didn't get anything, which is funny. As for Brenda's parents, this was so sad. So they both die before the trial even begins. Both of her parents. And according to friends and family, it's due to the heartbreak and stress of Brenda's murder and the thought of not having her in her life. So it might have actually been a awful blessing because thinking of her or them having to hear everything that freaking Marianne said in court.
Oh, yeah. And having to listen to that. Oh,
yeah. Right. And also while Mel had been in prison, his family had to sell off all of his possessions, including his house, his vehicles, all his goods. He didn't have his job anymore, of course.
Oh, my God.
Just to pay the lawyer fees. So when he gets out, he has to go live with Mike until he can get back on his feet again.
Oh, and I'm sure he was more than happy to have him. He was probably like, you know how hard I worked to get away from this guy?
I know. Yeah. But he lets him come in. And one night, Mike's going out with friends. He tells his dad, I'm going out. I'll be back around 11:30 sometime that night. His dad's sitting there on the couch watching TV, as he always is, apparently. Right. Mike gets back at about 11:30, and he finds it weird that his dad isn't in the usual spot watching TV. Like the lights and the TV are on. There's a fresh soda right next to the couch. He's like, okay, well, but there's no Melvin. So Mike's like, well, maybe he's in the basement doing laundry or something.
Right. Okay.
So he just goes to bed. The next morning, Mike gets up and he's like still weirded out because everything's still on. TV's on, lights on. Soda's still sitting there.
Mel's gone.
Gone. He notices his phone is blowing up with messages. And most of them are asking if he's seen the news.
Oh, God.
Yep. Here we go again. He's like, why am I always the last to know?
God. He really should pay better attention to the news. Obviously.
Like the big news was that Melvin had been arrested again turns out
mid-soda?
he came and got him when his son's out and his son's back. Like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
My dad's just gone.
Couldn't they have left a note? Dad's been arrested. Come down to the police station. Just like pop it on the fridge.
That would have been nice. But it turns out the people that bought Mel's house after he had it, they decided to do some redecorating. They tore out the carpet and they uncovered a hidden air duct. In the air duct, they found a bag of jewelry and undeveloped film.
They carpeted over the air duct?
Oh, is that weird? I thought that same thing. I was like, that could really mess up your airflow system.
Right?
What are you doing?
Who does that?
Who does that?
That's odd. Okay.
But this family that bought it, they knew the stories of the previous owner. So they turned all the stuff into the police right away. It happened to be exactly everything Marianne had told them about.
The one time she tells
everything.
the truth.
She told the truth, but she cried wolf so many times nobody believed her. Photos of the entire act with Mel were, as the main character of all these, were all in there. Over 105 photos, I think. It showed the torture and sexual assaults both Mel and Marianne inflicted on Brenda. They had tied Brenda to a glass coffee table in Marianne's place, the scream-proof place. Tied her to a glass table. Don't know why. I think it was just a coffee table and it was convenient.
Right.
And that's where Mel had put the chloroform rag over her.
Oh my God. For what reason?
Her.
For what? I mean,
I had read, well, Marianne, and I don't know how much stock to put in her stuff, but she had said that Brenda was ice cold in the bedroom with Mel. And so
dump her.
So the couple decided to give her sexual therapy to teach her how to.
That's not how that works.
Things. No, it just sounds stupid. Like some excuse.
No, I believe Dr. Ruth would have some issues with that. That's not how we. No, that's not how we do that.
No.
And when did Marianne even come back into the picture?
Exactly. It's a big question.
I have so many questions.
So they kill her, they place her in a plastic bag, they fold her clothes in another bag and bury them all in the shallow grave that they had dug weeks earlier. Apparently it wasn't as deep as Mel had claimed. But so the police now had the evidence to prove that Mel was Brenda's murderer.
Oh my God.
But they can't charge him due to the double jeopardy clause. I know.
Holy shit.
But feds aren't about to let him go off scot-free. So they charge him with perjury for lying on the stand.
Oh.
Yes. And in court, so he gets up on the stand to say something in court. I don't know if it's standard or what, but he stands up and he confesses to everything. He knows he can't be charged with it. So he's just like, yep, did it all. And he gives all the details like, holy shit. He even admitted that he had used a yellow legal pad prior to the killing and planned out the sequence of how he would perform the murder, from sexually abusing her to photographing her and everything in between.
Holy shit.
That's his son, like watching an interview with his son was just like,
Did he learn about that on the news too? Probably. What do you mean they found a legal pad?
Afterwards, he didn't even go to court. What is happening?
Right. My dad confessed. Shit.
So he's just disgusted. Like,
this
asshole. He couldn't believe his dad would do something like that, because of the perjury charges, he's sentenced to 9 years in federal prison, and he ends up doing less than 7.
Oh, God.
Mike wouldn't visit him in prison. He was betrayed and disgusted. But then Mel's released and has nowhere to go. And Mike is such a good kid.
Too bad.
Such a good person.
No.
I know.
No.
So he's like, okay, you can stay with me for a while, but not as long as you did before. And the two have some heart-to-hearts, but he never really apologizes.
I don't get heart-to-hearts.
Yeah. And Mike said they never really reconnected after that. It was just, he was too far gone. So eventually Mel moves into his own place. And on September 1st of 2008, Mike stops by his dad's apartment. He rings the doorbell, rings doorbell, no answer. Mike uses his key to get in. He walks into a scene he's not expecting. There's broken glass and blood all over the floor. Apparently, they came from a broken glass coffee table. Mel had been using a walker because he had kind of gone downhill. He had The walker was knocked over on the floor by the mess. So Mike continues through the apartment, finds his dad dead in the bedroom. If this isn't karma, you've got to hear about this. Mel had tripped and fallen through the glass coffee table. Remember how Brenda was killed on a glass coffee table?
Yes.
He had cut his arm, his artery on his arm in the glass from the coffee table. He had crawled to his bedroom and died from bleeding out. Karma was like, bitch, I got you.
Good.
Incredibly, soon after Mary Ann had been released from jail, she too had died, like pretty quickly. She died of natural causes, but it was like...
Man, I was really hoping that she didn't fall under the double jeopardy.
No, I know. But Mike believed his dad killed Brenda because she had broken off the engagement because she was seeing someone else. And she had told other people how repulsed she was by Mel.
Oh, my God. Poor Brenda. Brenda. Yeah.
Yeah, Brenda. So they think she had broken it off and he couldn't handle it. So he got Mary Ann in on it for some reason. I don't know if they were still seeing each other.
Oh my God.
So gross. I know. So that is the case of double jeopardy, that someone actually got away with it. You know, I've always seen it in murders, but I hadn't heard if someone actually had been caught with that, and they did.
Oh my God. That's okay. I'm speechless.
I know. And to get away with it because this lady was such a psycho. But they both were. They both ended up being psychos.
Right.
Sounds like,
oh my God,
Quentin Tarantino or something. I don't know.
Oh my God. Wow. That was an awesome story. Holy shit.
Did you want to hear my sources?
Yes, please. Where did you find this beauty?
Oh my God. The best part was this TV show called Evil Lives Here. I'm sure you've seen some of those.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
This was season 10, episode 4. He got away with murder. And this is all his son telling everything from the start to finish, and it was amazing. That kid turned out good. I don't know how. Wow. It seems like it anyway. Wikipedia, allthat'sinteresting.com.
Yep. Oh, and that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yep. It's a good one. WLKY.com, NewYorkDailyNews.com, TheFamousPeople.com.
The famous people.
The famous people.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, what a great way that he went. It was like karma was
very serendipitous.
Yes.
Very. Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
Hey Oddies, thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.